Welcome to the Goldenrod Podcast, bringing you some of the latest and greatest Pokemon news and a few laughs along the way. I'm Ben, and as always, I'm joined by fellow Pokemon enthusiast Conor. Before we begin, you can jump around the podcast by using the timestamps in the description below. Another week into Scarlet and Violet. How are we feeling, Conor?
I'm enjoying it a little bit more. I think the raids helped a lot. I don't know if you played much of the Charizard raids and stuff like that.
None whatsoever. Good?
Yeah, they were all right. There was distinctly a meta that got set up. I think at one point, if you weren't running Azumarill or Dashbun, I think it's called Dashbun, or Grimmsnarl specifically for setting up screens and things like that.
Yes,
you just weren't winning.
Right,
that was it. You needed one of those three Pokemon to even stand a chance. And to the point where if you were doing it with random people and they didn't bring those Pokemon, you may as well just quit.
Chance. Right, okay. It feels very much... Did you play the Mewtwo raid in Sword and Shield when they first came out?
I didn't know. I wasn't
okay.
I wasn't huge into the raids in Sword and Shield. They were really long.
Okay. They had a very similar meta, funnily enough, where... again, I was connecting with randoms. I was running Grimmsnarl because I couldn't trust other people to bring. If no one brought Grimmsnarl, you pretty much didn't have a chance. So I was like, I might as well bring my Grimmsnarl. It has Prankster, which means Thunder Wave, and then just set up screens. And maybe you would win some of them if the other players bought powerful Pokemon. So it sounds like it's very similar. I do like the fact that there is a meta to these raids. I do enjoy that rather than it just being a simple mash A to beat the Pokemon. But at the same time, like, doing these with randoms sometimes are frustrating. Any game where you play with randoms is frustrating, unfortunately.
No, it basically couldn't be done. It couldn't be done. Luckily, obviously, I know a lot of creator friends who were doing it on streams and things like that. And I've got my own Discord set up where lots of people are in there now going, hey, I want to do a raid. Is anybody available? Oh, I still need my Charizard. Does anybody else need their Charizard still? I can sort of raid out so you can get your Charizard and things like that. Beautiful little community coming together over this game.
Good. I love that. Definitely. It's coming back. They've already announced that it's having a second run, isn't it? Is it this month or next month?
I think it's in a couple of weekends, I believe.
Yeah, it's not like... Because I didn't get a chance.
15th, I want to say off the top of my head.
Sounds about right. So that I'm gonna get on the second go around. But
get your level 100 Azumarill set.
Okay, right. I'll get on that. But I do have to ask a question. Why? Like, obviously, people want this Dragon Terra type Charizard. Can you not change Terra typings in the game anyway?
You can, but you can't get another Charizard that has the same status. Oh, I've forgotten it's got the same title.
Oh, that's it, right. I was wondering what makes it unique. So this is the title when it's thrown out into battle?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right. So I definitely need to do it next time then so I can pick that up. Shall we jump into the first segment of this week's podcast?
Let's do it. Tell the people what we're doing this week.
So, obviously, we have already reviewed Scarlet and Violet in pretty much every regard except for the story. That's mainly my fault because it's taken me that long to get around to completing the story. But I have finished it. As of this week, I have finished it. And me and Conor are just going to jump in, give our thoughts, positives, negatives, on the story. So the three different paths and the end game, because the end game was the thing that I was the most excited to discuss on this podcast, because we kind of touched on the three paths, but I think it's worthwhile as talking a bit more about them because we didn't get to discuss the end game of those paths. So should we start with the gym?
Well, we should start off by saying spoilers ahead.
Oh yeah, so many spoilers. If you have not completed this game, so yeah, I'd say personally, like, complete the game, then listen to this. While we could do, timestamps for gyms, Titans, Team Starfall, some of the plot points intermingle, especially with the end game. I can't really say much more than that without giving it away. So what I'd probably say is, if you're not completed the story, like, save this podcast, go and finish it, and then come back to it.
Also, this is not going to be as ranty as some of our previous podcasts that review this game, okay? I at least enjoyed the story.
Okay.
But I'm just going to give you more details on that.
Okay.
Just because I know what people think of us now.
Yes,
they think we hate
yes.
this game. It's not true.
We don't. We do not hate this game. Okay. Should we start with the gym path?
Sounds like a perfect place to start. The Old Faithful.
Yes, that's why I wanted to start with it, because this was going into this game. This was the one of the three paths that it's your bread and butter of Pokemon. You know what you are getting. 8 gyms. You get the badges, and then, by the end of the game, you are then into the Pokemon League as normal. So there weren't many surprises going down that route in terms of the story. I guess where the story is, though, is your rival.
Yep,
and Nemona and the
Elite Four in the Primarina who keep tipping up.
They keep popping up here and there. So typically what will happen is either before or after a gym battle, one or more of them will appear, they will talk to you, they will chat with you. I do like that. I always enjoy when they are bringing these characters in throughout the story, and you get to have those conversations and you get to build up these characters. What I did like is that they all had their own individual personalities, which was absolutely fantastic. The Dragon Elite Four member, absolutely love him. Because he is very much a two-sided coin in terms of two personalities that he has. There's almost no middle ground. It's either he is very stoic, I think, and then at the end of the game, when he lets down his defenses,
he's breaking down that toxic masculinity.
He is. It's absolutely like when he first starts blubbering at the end of the game. Like, oh, this is actually beautiful, because you can tell that he's so overcome with emotion of just the prospects of this trainer that has come out of nowhere, and they are such a good fighter, and their bond with their Pokemon. And I know I'm jumping ahead here, but like the main reason I guess I'm jumping ahead is
not a lot happens.
Not a lot happens in that. In that, yes, the gym leaders all have their typical personalities, and there are some that I really don't care for, like Katie, the Bug-type gym leader.
She doesn't stand out a lot, does she? It's like, oh, I've got, I own a bakery. It's like, all right.
It's like, great.
Cool.
It would have been nice to see a bit more of that. But then you get other gym leaders like, is it Rhyme?
Rhyme, the Ghost-type gym leader.
Absolutely
who took over her gym from her sister, Time.
Oh, is that the reference? Right, because you meet Time later on, and my first thought was, are they alter egos? Like, Time is... Okay,
no,
just
Time
life.
Is her sister who used to run the gym.
That makes sense, right.
But Rhyme,
okay.
I love Rhyme so much. Not only is it an interesting gym battle, and the fact that, she's a rapper, an old rapper, which is
I love it.
Really cool and really interesting, and not a character trait you expect to see in a Pokemon game.
Nope.
But you've got MCG Rave over in the corner.
No, right.
And it's brought up that she apparently became a Pokemon trainer, or a ghost-type Pokemon trainer, because her puppy died, and she wrote a rap, she wrote a song, poured all of her emotions, all of her loss, all of her misery into the lyrics, and that brought the Pokemon back to life as a Greavard.
Whoa, okay. How did you find that out? Is it just talking to people in the town?
I think that's one of the books in the library that you can get that information.
Oh, okay. I've missed out on that. There's a lot of lore digging that I need to do in this game. Just a couple of the other gym leaders, I guess, that do and do not stand out. I did like the water type gym leader, Kofu, was it?
Right, Unibrow. Double Unibrow.
Yeah, double Unibrow. I love his design. I love his personality. Not a fan of the gym challenge, but fine. Yeah, not a fan of the gym challenge. Absolutely waste of a gym challenge. But him as a personality, really enjoyed that as well. Who was some of the other? Larry stands out. Absolutely love Larry. He's
Larry stands out for many reasons.
His design is fantastic. He's got one of those personalities that is so boring that it then goes full circle to being engaging.
Yep.
Do you not think? So I loved him. Gracias, the grass type gym leader. Yeah, whatever. Cool entrance. That is about it. I know I'm missing the ice type gym leader. Is it Grusha?
Grusha, yeah.
He whatever, I guess. Yeah.
I think the psychic type gym leader was a bit of a miss. She looks more like a fairy type gym leader to begin with.
Yeah, her design. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of her design. I do remember liking the conversations with her.
See, I don't know. She doesn't seem interested. Like we've had supermodels as gym leaders before.
We have, yes.
And when you're talking about Elise, she's there for it. When she rocks up to be a gym leader, she's like, nah, this is what I'm doing right now. Sure, I'm a supermodel, but when I'm a gym leader, I'm a gym leader. Yeah. Whereas the psychic one just rocks up and she's like, oh, yeah, I guess I got to get off the phone. I got to do this thing. All right, hi. I guess you want a gym battle. All right, that's over now. No, you can't have a picture with me. I charge people for that. And it's like, oh, come on. Be interested in your job.
I get that. Yeah, I get that. She's the one that I remember the least out of all of them, which maybe says something about that, unfortunately.
Yep.
And then there's who am I missing? I know I'm missing one. I am missing stalling for time. I don't know. I know I'm missing one, but I can't.
I'm literally looking them up now.
Third one. Who's the third one? I don't know. Not as grating on me as in that video, but that's because obviously she's got a voice in the video, and then in this she hasn't. So you can put your
agreed. She still has the worst gym challenge.
Oh no, I don't agree with you there. I quite enjoyed the gym challenge.
You enjoyed Where's Wally?
I enjoyed Where's Wally. The only thing that I wish is that A, there was more of them. B, it didn't start to zoom in when you were struggling, because I really enjoyed those. But there isn't much of a. There's a lot less. Her personality's there from the videos, but it's less in your face. But I think that's down to the voice acting.
Okay, genuine question.
Yes.
How many of the gym leaders do you think were represented well by their gym challenge?
Oh, good. Okay. Brastius, I can see a bit of a link there.
I can see where they're going. It's like you're supposed to run around and find the sunflower, but not my artwork. That's not a real sunflower. I understand that point of view.
Sure, I'll give that like half a point, I think. The bug type challenge, the ball and the ball.
Rolling olives.
Like,
that's supposed to be something to do about the town rather than her.
Yeah, that one was a miss for me. The third one I know has nothing to do with it. Like, I like the part where she explains, oh, you're going to help me to increase my views and everything on the live stream.
Yeah, I do like that she catches herself on that. I mean, entertain my audience, not get views. I wouldn't possibly say that.
But by the way, did you see that I swear I saw this, but I haven't had it. So I've beaten Iono twice, and I've only seen this happen once. Somebody in the background donates 5,000 Poké dollars.
No, I haven't seen that.
It happened on my. I can't remember if it was the video series I'm doing with British or the challenge video I'm doing. It's happened on one of them, but not the other one. So I don't know if it's a random thing because she's a streamer. I don't know. But when I saw it, I was like, no! I was proper in hysterics because it happens in the real world. But her gym challenge has nothing to do with her. Like, I get.
I mean, it does, but again, it's one of those things where there's no way anybody would watch that.
No. I guess that's my point. Is that yes, the part of the gym challenge and the gym is that. Okay, I need you to help me to increase my viewership. I'm completely on board with that. Yes, that fits her personality. I don't see how Where's Wally is the content that her viewers are asking for. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Feels like a bit of a disconnect there. The fourth gym leader, the water, Kofu, was it?
There's an argument that it's like he's a chef, so he goes to the farthest reaches of the land to go and get the best ingredients.
So, but it almost seems like the gym challenge for 4 and 5 are mixed up then, because number 5 is where you have to battle trainers to get hints on a recipe that you then create in order to pass the gym test, and Larry's delivering it or something like that. It almost seems like they're a bit mixed up there.
Larry's got nothing to do with the gym challenge. He just happens to eat there.
Right, okay, that's what it is.
He's just a customer who's in the gym at the time, or not the gym, in the restaurant at the time.
Right.
And then for some reason, it's like, all right, guys, it's a gym challenge time, and just the customers just disappear into the floor as it becomes a battle stadium.
Yes,
I was like, where did they go?
I had that with my do not use the Tinker Tank evolution line in that gym, because it's some Pokemon are level on the floor. Tinker Tank's evolution line is submerged, halfway submerged, because that was something that I was recording, and I just had to stop and be like, wait, what? What is happening? Anyway,
I will say as well, Kofu, the gym challenge you do for Kofu isn't the official gym challenge.
It's not, no.
It is just a favor you do. So I get it.
Yeah. Then the 6th gym leader
is Rhyme, where again it's Did you click do a rap battle, by the way? When she says, do you want to do a Pokemon battle or a rap battle?
I haven't. No, what happens if you click rap battle?
I don't know. I didn't do it. I was hoping you did.
Oh, okay. No, I haven't. But on the series that I'm doing with British, I always choose the negative answers.
Yes.
But
good.
from what I've seen so far, they just do not make an impact. To the point where sometimes the line of dialogue after is exactly the same, no matter which one of the two options. But that is one area where I am going to do that, just so I can kind of see what is different. What did you think of that gym challenge?
It gave me an opportunity to use the Donzo and Tatsugiri.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is basically all I used that for. It wasn't difficult. I do enjoy double battles when it comes to gyms. I think Raihan stands out a lot for being a double battle gym. The twins in Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire stand out for being a double battle. Definitely. I think it's really good when it gets thrown in there. Yeah, it was fine. I don't think any of the teams were specifically built for double battles. I don't think
I'd agree with that.
I don't think Ghost lends itself really to double battles.
No.
Again, if you look back to Raihan's team, it's all weather induced and stuff like that. It was really well made, but I enjoy double battles, but she didn't do it very well.
No, I loved that entire part. Was probably my favorite gym in terms of the typings, the gym leader, but the gym challenge should have been more about her whole thing, which is rapping, and I know that there was an element there in terms of, oh, look at me, I'm bigging up the crowd, but it was, I don't know, like these kind of things are where they should, it's almost like the gym challenges should almost be a once and done, wow, that was really unique and different and I liked it, which rather than it's just a normal battle. Like, I've got enough battles in Pokemon. Like, those gym challenges should be something different.
See, it's interesting you say that, because I would argue the complete opposite when it comes to the next gym. When you do the, ESP.
Yeah, we have
emotional
to do the
super training or whatever it is.
Yes, which doesn't make, like, it's poorly implemented, because you can, if you get the answer wrong, you can just change it to the right one. And you can keep mashing the right one, but it doesn't make a difference as far as I can tell. To the point where I don't know what happens if you fail it. Like, if you just don't bother doing it, what happens? I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
But, so
I failed the first couple because I literally didn't know what I was doing.
Right, okay.
And saw no negative.
Oh, see, so my previous point about it, like, I still maintain that this is one of the ones that stood out the most to me, but it was poorly executed.
I think it's really cool that your Pokemon does it alongside you and you can watch them pull all the different emotions.
Agreed.
Like, it was really funny. I had my my Spostiff with me, So just seeing it do its big stupid grin was amazing.
Yeah. And then I'll come back to my point. And then what was the final?
It's Grusha.
Gym. Oh,
where you do the downhill snowboarding, but on your motorbike Pokemon.
Love the idea of that. The execution was terrible. It's clunky.
Clunky is the best word for it. It doesn't feel smooth as you're coming down there, and there's like no ice controls. There's no ice physics. It feels really stiff coming down this slope.
Yep, it does, and it's like it's too easy as well.
Yes, agreed.
Like I missed one, and that's mainly because it was I think the second gate, and I was still figuring out. Okay, right, so left, right. Okay, right, easy enough. Blah blah blah. Missed it. All right, okay. Then got every single one on the way down. I guess
And was there any fallout to you missing one of the gates?
No, none whatsoever.
Oh, okay.
You basically have 90 seconds to get down there, and I got down there in something like 30-something seconds.
Yeah.
And I missed one gate, so it just shows
did you get a time penalty, or?
I honestly can't remember. It's a bit of a... I don't think it made a difference, to be honest with you. It'd be interesting to know what happens if you miss them all, but the fact that this is, a game aimed at younger children makes me think that the penalties probably are either non-existent or aren't very harsh, unfortunately. But where do you stand on the 8 gym challenges, the tests, or whatever they're called, the gym tests, aren't they, compared with, let's say, the last generation Sword and Shield?
I think they were less impactful overall.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly, I remember a lot of the gym challenges from the last one. I remember like the first 3 distinctly.
Yeah.
And then after that, they are a little bit of a blur.
So, I think that the ones in Sword and Shield aligned better with the gym and the gym leader's personality than these ones, unfortunately.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that they take place in the gym, which is themed around what the gym is about, whereas it's not in this game. They're all open air.
Yes, which I think is to its detriment sometimes, unfortunately.
What is that huge gym building for? Nothing happens there.
To literally register, and that's it. Which...
I mean, like, in world, why is it so big?
Oh, don't know. It's an interesting question. Like, if I had to come up with like a canon explanation, I'd imagine you've got the bottom floor, then the next floor is maybe where staff rest, or there's computers. Maybe there's a floor for gym leaders if they're visiting, or Elite Four if they're visiting. Beyond that, I can't tell you what the other 3 or 4 floors are for. Like, storage, there's one. Yeah. They're really weirdly... It's just really weird, unfortunately. Yeah. I just don't... Yeah, I don't understand those buildings. But I think there are some really good ideas in terms of the gym tests. But again, like I've said about the rest of the game, poorly executed, unfortunately. The fact that, like, the poor controls for some of them, the wonky issues that you've got, unfortunately, which does draw you out of it sometimes. Some of them are just interchangeable. You could change them over and it wouldn't make a difference, I think, is unfortunately an issue, because it means that the gym tests aren't aligned with the city, the gym leader's personality, and the theming and the typing, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because there's some of these that I really enjoy.
Yeah. There's even some of them that arguably I'd love to see open up to you post-game.
Yes. Oh,
so
yes,
for instance,
definitely.
Like Iono. I'd love to just take part in Iono streams.
Yeah.
Post-game. Like, oh, yeah, I've got so-and-so back on with me this time. They gained us a load of subscribers, so here they are again. And you can just keep doing different tasks with Iono. You could go back and actually race Grusha down a slope. I think that'd be really fun.
Which is strange, because, like, I was thinking, imagine a minigame where there are multiple high cliffs that you can go up to, and you have to race other players down the hills, the slopes, whatever, and you're racing against maybe other trainers with Cyclizar. Because I thought that was going to be bigger in this game. I thought there would be some kind of race element, but in a simple way, not like Mario Kart or anything. And the reason I thought that is because we got a similar minigame in Sword and Shield where you rode your bike through the balloons.
Was there balloons in Sword and Shield? I know there was in Legends Arceus.
Or was it rings? There was something in Sword and Shield where you raced through
Sword
the wild
and Shield,
area.
You went from person to person. It was like, can you go over here within a certain amount of time? And then in Legends Arceus, you did the balloons on all the different ride Pokemon.
Yeah,
harder and harder, and you had to start switching between the ride Pokemon as it went on.
Oh, yes. Oh, I do remember that. Now, that was a challenge.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that in this, unfortunately. But you are right. It would be nice to see some of those elements become almost a post-game mini-game almost, where, I don't know, you get items, you get Pokemon, because the mechanics are already there. Like, the dance mechanic they've built that solely for one gym, and it feels wasted. Like, bring that somewhere else.
Imagine if it was a case of, like, you could do ESP and it boosted friendship massively.
Yeah.
Suddenly it's a reason to go do it over and over again.
Exactly.
Is it the most interesting thing in the world? No. But people have done dumber things to get decent friendship and good catch rates.
Exactly. Should we move on to the Elite Four then?
Let's talk Nemona first.
Okay.
Because she pops up a lot more often.
Okay.
What were your overall thoughts? That sigh.
No. Sorry, that's my thinking sigh. I really liked her as a rival. And I think the reason why I liked her as a rival is, and I've said this before in previous generations, is they never really repeat the rivals. There might be similarities between different rivals in different generations, but they're never outright a carbon copy. To Game Freak's credit, they never just go, okay, this character works in Generation 4, let's just literally give him a facelift and throw him in Generation 9. They don't do that. What I liked about this rival is the fact that throughout the game, like, you aren't her equal. You are learning and developing and growing to become her equal, to the point where, like, the rival fights you have throughout the game, if you lose, there's no detriment. Like, you continue playing the game. The rival just goes, oh, okay. Because I've done a challenge video, and I lost the first one. And I was like, okay, right, this is the first rival battle. It's a bit like, Generation 1, the optional battle against Blue. If you lose it, whatever, it's fine. But then I kept losing them in this challenge video, and every time she just goes, okay, that was great. Keep in there, and we'll fight again. So they don't actually matter. And what I do like about that, though, is the fact that there's nothing worth. There are always things, but it's really disjointing in a game where they hype up someone to be a really difficult boss. You beat them in the battle, but then the cutscene after is almost, haha, I wasn't at full power. Oh, I wasn't. I was messing around. Whatever it might be. Whereas in this, it is a case of, if you lose, like, you just continue playing, because that's how Pokemon works. That's how it would work in real life. If you lost, it wouldn't be a case of, okay, let's just keep rebattling until you win. And it gives it credit, in my opinion, because it makes you realize, okay, yes, she's not challenging you to build the best team or to get stronger herself. She's already there. She's doing this as almost a test and being a friend to you. Let's battle.
She's purposely adopted a weaker team.
Yes.
She's just training up more Pokemon because that's what she finds fun.
Exactly. I absolutely, I love that. I do love that about her. I love her personality. I love how friendly she is. However, in my first run through, when she asked you if you want to be friends, I said no, just to see her reaction. And she was not. Her reaction's basically, oh, did I come on too strong? Like, yeah, a little bit.
Mate, I love her so much. Have you seen the references that people are making that she's Goku?
Okay, go on.
So the idea being that Goku is like this country bumpkin who just wants to fight strong guys.
Yes.
That's his whole personality.
It is.
I want to fight strong guys, and that's Nemona. She's just like, I want you to get stronger, because the stronger you are, the better of a fight I'll have.
Yes.
And like the more I look into her, the more I like her, because if you consider her as like, I was like, how does she work as a rival? She's not really the antithesis to you in anything, but she is in this game about being open world and multiple paths and you going out to discover your treasure. She's like, no, I know what I like and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it over and over and over and over and over and over again because I love it and that's what I do. And it's like, okay, that makes sense, actually, why she would be the rival of this game.
And I completely agree. And what I do love is the fact that that personality bleeds through into some of the conversations later on where I think it's after one of the gyms where she's like, right, okay, let's battle. And the La Prima, is it?
La Primarina, or no, not Primarina. It's Primera?
Something like that. And she's basically like, whoa, hold on, like, he's just battled a gym leader.
Give it a rest.
Yes, like just calm down. Let me heal up the Pokemon. Okay, now you can have the battle. And I love the fact that she's very like, if some of these personality traits might have been on Hop or Barry, I think people would have found them annoying, but they're quite endearing with her in terms of when she just like she calls you up quite early on. She's like, wait, you're at that gym. Hold on, I'll be right there. And then she's like straight in there. And little things like that where she's excited for you, if that makes sense. Like she is rooting you on this journey because she is looking for that challenge that it seems that she hasn't had since the Elite Four, maybe.
Okay, genuine question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think people would have liked her as much if she had been a male rival with the same personality?
I don't think people would. I don't think it'd bother me, to be quite honest with you, because, like, as I said, everything she was saying and doing, I found quite endearing and funny, and she's doing them for the right reasons. But I'd take your point that if it was a bloke, maybe it wouldn't have been.
It wouldn't have come across as endearing. Yeah,
maybe. But she isn't as over the top as maybe where Barry is and Hop is. Where like that's it's. I personally think it's a rival done well because
I think she's well written. I think in fact, the vast majority of the characters in this game are well written. Mm-hmm. They nail down their characteristics, and the actual dialogue they come out with feels really natural.
Yes. Credit that, like, no two of the main characters, so, like, the gym leaders, the Elite Four members, and the other people in Team Starfall, Titan Path, Endgame, whatever it might be, they all feel different. They all feel distinct. They all feel unique. Even the Elite Four, who some of them, aren't in the game that much. They have a couple of, you meet them once or twice. So, Poppy, I think, is one of them.
Yeah,
you meet her. The child. Is she definitely a child?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. You meet her, I think it's once before the Elite Four and then at the Elite Four, I think.
Uh-huh.
And even she has a personality, which is great. And I know I'm jumping ahead a bit, but like the way that the Elite Four interact with one another.
Mm-hmm. They've clearly been working together for a long time.
Yes.
And know each other's strengths, know each other's weaknesses, know each other's personality very well.
Mm-hmm.
And it shines through.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Let's wrap up.
We'll come back to Nemona later because obviously the final story.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, let's do it that way. So, Elite Four. What are your initial thoughts?
I think Rika is fantastic. I love her dearly. I think the art teacher, I forget his name, is interesting. Yeah. And again, I like the way he breaks down that stoic male stereotype by just blubbering. He's fantastic. He's just overwhelmed by just the beauty of Pokemon battles. I think he's an art teacher. He's open to his emotion and knows how to express them. Fair play. I like that.
Yeah, I love it.
Poppy, I'm not a fan of, really.
Okay.
I get what they're going with, which is this really young person who's like just super talented. But yeah, she's the one you see the least, I think.
Yes, I think maybe that is part of the reason why she doesn't leave that much of an impact, because she doesn't have much chance to make an impact. But I will say some of the highlights for her from me are her interactions with the other members of the Elite Four.
Yes, agreed.
The way, like you said, it feels like they have been working together for a while. The way they talk with one another and they reference how they act and feel because they have worked together for a while, which I love.
You certainly feel like there's a big sister, little sister dynamic going on between her and Rika. Her screaming for Larry at the end. Spoilers. Larry is the fourth Elite Four member.
What a twist! Me. What a twist! Because we've never seen that before. The Elite Four is always separate from the gym challenge. Like they're always different trainers. Whereas in this, Larry's just like, I'm really good with flying type Pokemon as well, so here I am. I'm like, okay.
Which makes sense, normal flying types are very common, perfect, and I just love the idea of just like, I'm just overworked.
Yeah,
I have two jobs, and a day job.
They reference that, which is fantastic, and just his again, like his design is. Hands down, I think he's my favorite design in the entirety of the game. I love it. Like, he is just, again, his design is so safe and boring that it goes full circle to like, I love that design. It's just great. His eyebrows, his eyes, his hair, it's a suit, everything. It's just
Larry
great.
deserves the world. I see myself in Larry.
Yeah, yes. He is definitely everyone wants to go on this Pokemon adventure and journey throughout all the games, but Larry is if you are on that journey for too long and I'm just done. Like, this is just a day job. I'm sick of Pokemon. I'm sick of working. I just want to sit down. I want to relax. I want to eat. Good old Larry.
Larry is the explanation as to why no Pokemon trainers have any dads. Because they've all got 3 jobs.
Yes, they're all
can't relax.
Yes. I think the only thing before we move on to the champion I can really think about is where the battles take place.
It's a bit of a letdown. It's a lot of a letdown.
Yes. It is just a room. There is no, like we said 2 podcasts ago. It's infuriating that. Typically, you do these Pokemon games, you go into the Elite Four, and it's, okay, look at this amazing fire-themed room, the rock-themed room, the dragon-themed room, and in this, there's just a room-themed room, which is just it's just a big room. One thing I did like, though, is the fact that I can understand why they did it, because each of the gym leaders come in, and then it gives them opportunity to interact, and you can see them standing in the background while you're fighting.
Yes, I understand that, but they could have easily gone with you and led you to the next room.
Definitely. So I think that goes back to what we said, or what I said, I think, in two podcasts ago, where you can see where they've tried to cut corners and save on time, costs, whatever it might be. And I think, like you said, we've done it in every other Elite Four. Give us the different themed rooms, and you go in and it adds, like I said, adds to their personality. Actually, one thing that we do need to mention, you're interviewed before you can even battle the Elite Four. You have to answer questions.
Did you have any difficulty with that test at all?
No, I didn't, but I don't think it's about being difficult. I think it's about almost we like the whole thing about this game is it's supposed to be your. What's the word? It's your treasure hunt, isn't it? Is that the word that they use? And this is almost like, okay, so we're using this to reaffirm, what did you learn? What was your treasure? What did you find along this journey? That's how I saw it. In-game, that's the reason behind it.
So I won't lie, I nearly messed up on one of the questions.
What happened? Okay.
Because the first thing they say is, which of the gyms gave you the most difficulty? And I was like, I can't remember the names of any of these towns because they're all ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pick one. And what was the gym leader's name in that gym? I'm like, no! I don't know!
Yes,
I don't know! Yes. Oh, God. I luckily picked the right answer, but that was terrifying.
It would be interesting to know what happens. I've got a feeling it's just a loop of, are you sure you don't want to answer that one? Are you sure that was correct? It probably puts you into a bit of a loop, I'd imagine, until you get it right, maybe. Or maybe it just doesn't make a difference. It'd be interesting to know if you can fail it. It was a nice little addition, and but I wouldn't want to see it in again. Like, it was almost this was unique and it makes sense because you are a child in a school going on this treasure hunt. I don't want to see it again, though. I don't want that to be a regular thing.
There is also something I want to say about the Elite Four, which is I want to know what their secret society is. Have you noticed that they're all clearly part of a secret society where they all wear the glove with like the eye on it, which they never wear through the rest of the game and only during that battle? What's that about?
Because, like, I was thinking that, secret society, okay, but actually, like, a lot of the battles, they show that glove that the Prima
is drawn attention to.
Yes, multiple times. It's like she's just like messing with her glove, and you see it on there. And I have noticed her with that symbol, but I hadn't noticed the other ones. So there's something going on there.
She has. Yes, that is her symbol, but she wears blue gloves most of the time.
Yes,
and then in the Elite Four, she has the same black gloves that everybody else wears.
Oh, okay, okay.
I don't know what it's about. I honestly have no idea, but I love it.
There's a theory video in there. Let's talk about the champion then.
Yeah. What a disappointment.
Probably one of the weakest champions in terms of.
She uses a Go-Go.
See, I love Go-Go, but that's not something you have on a champion team. It's not something you have on a champion team. So I think that unfortunately, there was a lot of disappointment in her in terms of I'm not a fan of her design, the hair, the team, where the battle takes place.
The rooftop,
fine, but it doesn't scream like this is the biggest challenge you've faced so far. It's okay, right, well, we can't reuse the room again, so where could we have this fight? The rooftop. Okay, that makes sense. And I get that, like, the whole thing about this game is it's all out in the world, it's out in the open, so where better to have this fight on top of the roof where you're overlooking the world. I get that. I just don't think it's executed very well. Her dialogue, like, she doesn't, out of most of the trainers and gym leaders and Elite Four, she probably has the most
basic dialogue.
Yeah.
Considering how everybody else talks about her, we never get to understand how she feels about her position, what she thinks of Pokemon training, what she thinks of the school, considering that she works hand in hand with the academy and is willing to set up like the post game and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
She runs the entire league, and we know what she does. We never know why she does it or if she enjoys any of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, going back to her team, she should have led with that Glamora. Considering that it has toxic debris,
its ability,
that would have made it an infinitely harder fight instantly.
She was a very simple Elite Four champion. Probably one of the weakest. Probably the weakest, actually, thinking back in terms of Pokemon. Unfortunately, I think. Like the music, I can't even remember the music. That is how, all I remember is making a mental note at the time going, this is a little bit, it's not very impactful, is it? Compared to some of the other champions?
It's underwhelming and a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking for, where it drops off at the end. Unfulfilling? That's not the word I'm looking after. Anticlimactic, thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I completely agree. Which is a shame, considering Sword and Shield and this have had fantastic music in those games. Absolutely phenomenal. And yet, this is the one where I'm like, this is the one where, like, this is the banger. This is the one you listen to on YouTube after to find and go, okay, right, I'm going to listen to this. And unfortunately, it's a bit lackluster.
I will say, though, once you beat her, you do have your final fight with Nemona, which is great because usually you'll have either a rival battle as the champion, which is the case with like Red and Blue, or right before you take on the Elite Four.
Yes.
Or I think in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you do fight your rival after the champion. But
yeah, I think you can track them down.
They're not a threat.
No, they're not.
They're like 10 levels under you at that point. You're just supposed to beat them up.
Yeah. This was difficult for me. I struggled with this
hard fight.
There is like credit where credit's due. Like, I've wanted a challenging Pokemon game, and I think a lot of the early to mid parts of this game are relatively easy. And then it's almost like there's a ramp right at the end that just spikes up, and the difficulty of some of the Elite Four members and your rival, I really struggled with. Even with what I thought at the time was, a well-balanced team of levels where, I'm only a level or two under theirs, but really struggling. I did like the fact she gives you the choice of where to fight. Which one did you pick? Can you remember?
I picked outside the back of our house.
Yeah, and
because
she
that's
just
where
did
we
it
met. That's where we had our first fight.
Yes, and she's like, yeah, I get that, but it's just my backyard. I'm like, okay, right. That does make sense. Like, because that was my first thought, was like full circle back where you fought. But then you're battling Messagoza, don't you? Yeah.
Which is like fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't give me the option to pick somewhere that's important to me and then go, nah, it's not really that important though, is it?
Yeah, it is. But this is but there isn't like anywhere that, I don't think there's anywhere in this game that's satisfying to have that final fight.
See, I still think out the back of the house really would have been, because
I think that would have been better.
That's where your whole journey begins.
Yeah.
That's where you meet her. You're only really friends because of that fight. Yeah. That's where she sees something in you and goes, all right, actually, you could be my rival.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the reasoning of like, oh, well, it's just my back gate, but come on.
I get that. I quite like the fact that she's happy that you win at the end of it. Like, which, sure.
It's a nice fake out.
Yeah, it is. It's a bit better than, I think, Hop's fake out. Do you remember Hop's fake out?
Hop is just miserable.
Yeah, I don't think it, like, Hop, I don't think it's a fake out. I think, like, he shows his genuine emotion.
He puts on a brave face of like, oh, well done, mate. You did it. Good for you. I'm going to go cry elsewhere now, not in front of thousands of people. Yeah. Whereas your rival in this game, she's genuinely happy that you've managed to beat her. And I think, like, she immediately is like, shall we go again? Yeah. And we'll fight again and again and again. Not messing around. She absolutely loves it. And I think she is genuinely happy because, like, from the dialogue you get, it's almost like she hasn't had a challenge in a long time, to the point where it seemed like what I got is, I beat the Elite Four, but they weren't really the challenge I thought they would be. Unfortunately, it's even suggested that Gita La Primera, what do they call her? La Primera? I believe so. It is. I don't know. Even she turns around and is like, Nemona beat me. I don't think she was trying. Yeah. It's like, why does anybody care about you then? Right? Yeah, exactly. Does anybody respect why are you here? Why are you here? So should we wrap up? Let's wrap up the gym section of the game, because we've got other parts that we need to wrap up. I think overall gym experience throughout start to finish, very, very positive. But like my review of the main game, there are elements that should have been better or could have been better. The characters were all wonderful. Yes. I just wish there was more set dressing. Yeah. I wish there was more scenery to go with them. Yes. I agree. I think that would have gone a long way. Yeah. Agreed. Do you want to tackle Titans or Team Starfall next? I think Team Starfall, because Titans rolls nicely into Endgame. I like that. So, what did you make overall of the Team Star storyline? I mean, it's a bit of a... It's supposed to be a little bit of a rug pull. Of like, aha, the evil team, except from they're not actually evil. They just did one bad thing, except from they didn't actually do anything bad. What was the bad thing? So, long story short, they were getting bullied because they're all freaking nerds and weebs and losers. And they decided, you know what, we'll band together and we'll stand up to our bullies. And I think they created the Starmobiles as a case of like, we're going to come after you. Okay. They sent the challenge of like, meet us here, come at me, bro. But at that point, whoever was bullying them was like, yo, these guys have all got together and apparently they've created these big cars and they've all got these weird dresses on and stuff like that. Should we just bail? Yeah. So they never showed up to the fight, but apparently that was such a problem for the school that students had reacted in this way and had taking matters into their own hands to such an extent that all the teachers quit. The director of the director of the academy quit and took a load of the took a load of the teachers with them. They destroyed the records of the school on the way out to remove the fact that any of these students had ever done this and Team Star had ever existed. Penny took the fall for it all.
Yeah, and she was sent away.
Instead of getting punished, was sent home to Galar.
Yeah.
For a year and a half. And in that time, Team Star just went, well, I guess we exist now, and people give us a little bit of respect and kind of want to join Team Star, even though Team Star wasn't even really a thing, but I guess now it can be a thing. And it's one of those things where, again, they've tried to set it up as this rug pull, where Penny at the beginning is getting bullied into joining Team Star, even though then set up of Team Star aren't actually bullies and don't really do anything. They just don't go to school.
Yeah, they're just yeah, you're right. They're just going out. They
don't go to school, which you don't have to go to because everybody's off on the treasure hunt anyway. There's something good here. Like I like the fact that, you know, they all have their own personalities and they're not ashamed of their personalities, but they're bullied for it, unfortunately. And I love the fact that, you know, they stand up. It's like, right, okay, let's band together. Let's figure something out. Let's do something about this. But there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of, okay, well, as Penny, as the leader, I created these rules, and therefore the only reason, like, we can't ask them to stand down, but if someone beats them, then they have to stand down. It's like, there's even though they're all actually decent people.
Yes, there's a lot of jumping through hoops that I don't think works, unfortunately. There are, like, I guess, like, the way it might have worked better is if, like, the five of them were the bullies, and the reason Penny sends you on this journey is because she maybe acknowledges, I don't know what I can do about them. I went to the school teachers. They didn't do anything. They didn't believe me. I'm taking matters into my own hands, and therefore I'm going to, you know, lure this new trainer into helping me to take them down, maybe.
There's a story there where it's like, look, we stood up for ourselves back in the day because we needed to. We banded together because we needed to. Now this whole Team Star thing's actually gone to their heads, and they've become what we were fighting against to begin with.
I like
but
that.
They never commit. They never ever commit to that.
They're just all misunderstood. But it's like, I don't get
how are you misunderstanding them that hard if they're not actually doing anything wrong?
No. Exactly, and it's your typical. We've kind of moved away from having villainous teams. So the last time we had it was in Sun and Moon, and Sword and Shield. The team yell in the trailers, "Oh, this is the bad team," only to find out they're just a bunch of hooligans rooting for somebody.
Yeah, and again, Team Skull weren't exactly the evil team.
No, they weren't. You're right. And then in this one, it's, you know, okay, this is Team Star. They are your Team Rocket, Team Flare, Team Aqua, Magma, whatever it might be. But they're kind of not. And it does make you wonder, how have they managed to recruit all these people to their cause?
And what cause? What do they stand for?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Not going to school?
Like, they're just rebellious, but I get sometimes rebelling. I understand that, but, like, what are they gaining from this?
But what are they rebelling against? The idea that, like,
don't know.
We went to this school and this school didn't look after us. Okay, there's a story there.
There
is.
But
you don't really do anything with it.
But the problem is, it's like, okay, the people at this school bullied us. The teachers did nothing. We are leaving this school. Okay, but all the teachers are gone, all the bullies are gone. It even references at the end the bullies have moved on, that they've left school, they've gone elsewhere. And it's like, well, what's stopping them from re-enrolling, going back? Like that's never truly explained. And I don't think the flashbacks help either, to be quite honest with you, because the flashbacks are more just, oh, look at us five all working together. Like,
aren't we great friends?
Yes.
Aren't we so likable? And it's like, yes, you are.
You are, but, like, that should have been...
But you fail as an evil team because of it.
Yeah, and, like, fair enough, if they don't want to outright go, they're an evil team. That's fine. Like, I don't need an evil team in Pokemon. It's fine. But don't
We're
try
overthrowing the school and rebuilding it in our image.
Yeah.
There you go. There's another easy story path for you.
Exactly. And like that could still work because you could still have Penny was the ringleader, realized, okay, we've gone too far. I need to get them to stop somehow. But how do I do that? Okay, let's get someone else involved to help me out. And then it's only at the end when they suddenly realize, actually, you know what? Yeah, we did want to overthrow the school because of the issues we had, but you're right. This isn't the way to do it.
Yeah. And it's the idea of they fell apart without Penny's guidance.
Yes. I like that. I like that idea. It's strange because I love a lot of their designs. I love the battles against the Starmobile. Like, really unique and creative. Really like them.
The raids before it aren't good.
No, they are absolute a pile of nonsense. So I know
we've talked about that previously.
Well,
to be fair.
we have. I just need to add that.
Go on.
I've beaten all of them with a single Pokemon.
Oh, really?
So you are forced to go in with 3. So I went in. So even the fighting one, which is you're supposed to be mid to late 50s to beat them, I went in with 3 Pokemon. One was level 5, one was level 6. They died in the first 2 or 3 fights. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to tell you the Pokemon. The first form evolution, it is rubbish. Level 50 something was able to beat all 30 of them and still comfortably.
I know what Pokemon you would be using.
Go on, I'm not going to confirm.
It's got to be the pseudo legendary, right? That's what you do.
It's not actually.
It's not? Okay, well, I'm waiting for that video.
So the reason why is because I'm playing the vanilla game, so I can't get it.
Oh,
so that's why. That's why. Well, not.
Oh no, because it's quite late level, isn't it?
It's late level.
It'll be an issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
when I've seen it, it's like level 50 something. When I've caught it. So yeah. Anyway, maybe one day in the future. Anyway, so yeah, the team star was probably. I was more excited to take this on than the gym challenge. I think because it was new and unique, but I think. Again, like the rest of this game, it's a mixed bag. There's some great things about it, and there's some parts where, okay, right, maybe you should have done it this way or thought about it this way. Unfortunately, there's a great story. There is something there, and I love that. And I always do enjoy the fact that when Pokemon can tackle more mature themes of bullying, I did enjoy that. And there's some fun parts in this as well. I mean, I still have no idea who Clive is, which is really
no idea
bizarre.
who Clive is.
No
but
idea.
He tells you.
I love that. I love the fact that he rocks up, and one of the first pieces of dialogue you can select is Mr. Cavall, like Director Cavall. Like,
what's great is if you do Clavel's side mission, he like asks you like, "Oh, I'm just wondering, is there any particular hairstyle that you're in at the moment?" And one of the options is huge pompadour, and he's like,
"Oh, really?
Interesting. I don't think I've seen anyone wear that."
Brilliant! I absolutely love that. Let's get to the end of Team Star. Then you beat all 5 of the bases. Rock up at the whatever the school is called, the academy, and Clive's waiting for you, but Clive is revealed to be dun dun dun.
It was me all along. No one saw this coming.
It's the director, and you're forced to battle them. And my like that didn't sit right with me, mainly because, and this is where Fake Out I think did work well, is because my first thought was, it's Penny. It's Penny. Penny's there. Penny's there throughout all 5 of them. You don't see Penny there at the same time as you get the phone calls. So when he reveals himself to be Cassiopeia or whoever it is, I was like, wait, what? I was like confused, but I could understand why a director would want to shut down this operation and the whole bullies behind it and trying to figure it all out.
And hack your phone?
Yeah, well, yeah. So I was like,
I'm not being funny. If it turned around, the director of the school hacked my phone so I would help him take down a bully group, I would be having words.
Yeah,
he would also be fired.
He would, yeah, he would. And maybe he does deserve to be after all this. Anyway, so turns out that is a fake out. He's just trying to protect Penny. Is that right?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't want her to take the fall for it again.
No. No, and I can understand why he does that. Although it doesn't work, obviously, and we do find out who the real original member creator of Team Star was, and it's Penny, which wasn't really a shock, to be quite honest with you. I was like, okay, yeah, she's been there. You haven't seen her at the same time. Conveniently, she always rocks up at the end of every Team Star base, almost like she's checking in to make sure you've done the job, or maybe to go and talk to the person. I don't know. But yeah, that was a. I keep going back and forth on Team Star and the missions. I think I stand by what I've said. Is that there's something good there, but not well executed.
I think it needed longer in the writer's room. I think it needed another couple of goes at it to be like, okay, now everything isn't quite as convoluted as it was.
Yeah.
And we're not, as you say, jumping through hoops to try and get stuff to play out the way we want it to.
The flashbacks to me should have almost been like a jigsaw piece where you get each piece and the mystery builds and, something's answered, but it pops up 2 more questions. And it's only once you've beaten all 5 that you get the full picture. It's like, okay, rather than the flashbacks really not serving a purpose, to be quite honest with you. Other than, like you said, aren't we all just best friends? Aren't we chummy? It's like, okay, right, well, I don't think we needed this.
Yeah, really. It's like we find out the poison guy made all the outfits.
Yeah.
Or no,
it's the fairy. It's the fairy. Yeah. His outfit is rocking. I love his outfit.
Oh, mate, love him. The fact that he's just like a proper little posh boy.
Yes. Oh,
living off mummy and daddy's mummy.
I do have to say, I do like the fact that when you rock up to his base, you fight his piano instructor,
who is the previous director of the academy who quit on their behalf.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah. I missed that. Right. Okay. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So, should we move on to the Titans?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Initial. Go on.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of story as far as the Titans themselves are concerned.
Well, there's none really, is there?
Well, we learn again, I can't remember where it is. It might be the Scarlet Violet book, that the Titans came about when Heath and his team 200 years ago went down into the cavern, found Terra Pokemon, tried to bring them up to the surface. They dropped their terrestrial forms, and they were like, oh, we don't know what we're doing here. And then they were like, oh, we also found this Herba Mystica. Brought the Herba Mystica up to the surface, planted it all. Then before they had a chance to harvest it, Pokemon ate it, and they became the first Titan Pokemon.
The Titan storyline is more about Arven. It's Arven's story.
All about Arven.
It is. And like the first time you meet Arven, he's very antagonistic, which was a major shock to me because I'd only seen the trailers. So when like that first meeting, it really threw me because what he was saying didn't align with what I'd seen in the trailers and what I expected of him.
Yeah, why would I help this guy out with anything?
And I love the fact that you beat the first Titan and the mystery, because once you leave, you see off screen he's talking to someone in his Pokeball, and my first thought was
he's got the other one.
He's got the other one, and
he's got either Miraidon or Koraidon.
Yeah, and my next thought was he is not to be trusted. We are helping someone we should not be helping. We know the power of Herba Mystica. He is after that for, insidious reasons.
Yeah.
And as I was, okay, right, I'm on board with this. Like the moment I saw that cutscene, it went from being my least favorite of the 3 storylines to, okay, this is the one I want to pursue because there is a mystery, there is a story here. There is a person who I need to unravel. And I'm a little bit disappointed that the second one, it's like, okay, I might as well reveal it now, and he's doing it for the right reasons. But that made me want to continue it even more because I'm like, oh, I don't want to see the doggy die. I want to help. And I don't know. I guess the point I'm making here is like, I want my cake and eat it.
There were twists and turns along this path that actually work.
Yes, there were, but I think the thing that I'm annoyed about is there are 2 paths here. Either he is a villain, he's doing it for insidious reasons, or it's the caring route. Like, it could have been either of them, and I would have been happy, and I'm a bit gutted it wasn't both of them. Do you get what I mean? I would have loved to see both of them.
I really like Arven's, not only his story, but his characterization, because through Arven, because we learn very early on that the professor is his parents.
Yes.
So because we don't interact with the professors a whole lot through this, and spoilers, they turn out to be the eventual villain, kind of-ish.
Kind of,
not really. But, like, so the fact that we don't interact with our villain the whole way through the story means that our only view of them comes from Arven and his relationship with them. So all through the game, we build up like, oh, he hates Miraidon. Oh, he's not really open to talking about his parents. And as it goes on, it's like, well, actually, I'm a very caring person. And this is my Bostiff, who I've had since he was a Mash Chief. And he was like the thing I grew up with because Miraidon or Koraidon came to the surface once but attacked a Pokemon, so we had to send it back down, and I lost my parents after that, and I literally had this dog to look after, and that was my whole childhood. Also, my mommy and daddy left me, and I've got a whole bunch of issues around that.
Yeah.
Love him. I love him so much. It's such a beautiful story. It's really well told. The characterization is perfect. And as you say, you start off, you don't like him, and then you understand him as the story unfolds.
Yes. And you can, like, in retrospect, that first meeting, you can understand his
absolutely
reaction and his sudden amazement that this Pokemon, whichever legendary it is suddenly up on, the out of Area Zero, and you can understand the complicated feelings that he has towards this Pokemon, the relation with his parents.
He says it outright. You cost me my childhood. Cut so deep.
Yeah. I think so. That side of the story I really enjoyed. I love following him through. Obviously the feeding the Herba Mystica to your Pokemon to improve its abilities. I like that functionality because it does help to lock certain parts of the world to you until you've done these Titan fights. I really did enjoy this.
Oh, I like Arven's reaction to that as well. How he's initially really annoyed at the idea of this Pokemon just stealing your food. And he's like, I didn't make any extra. You can't have it. And then it's like, no, all right, I made you your own, stupid beast.
Yes,
like,
I love it. I absolutely love it. But what did you make of the actual Titans?
They're a bit of a letdown, all things considered.
So
I don't think the fights with them are that entertaining.
No.
There's not a lot of challenge leading up to them. You just kind of walk up to it, you fight it once, you chase it around the corner, you fight it again with Arven's help.
Yeah,
which I think we said before is even easier the second time round than it is the first time.
It is. I enjoyed the last one because there was a bit of a fake out of. Yeah. Oh, okay, right. It ate the Pokemon because I love that because my first thought was, wait, we've seen a Pokemon eat another Pokemon, like Pokemon food chain confirmed. It's not just in the Pokedex entries. It is we have seen a Pokemon eat another Pokemon. Only for it to then pop out at the end, and it's actually instead of it being two single battles, it's got an extra battle where the Titan Pokemon is actually I can't remember the name of it, the little fish one, the
Tatsugiri.
Tatsugiri, that's the one. I did enjoy that. However, and because this is full spoilers, I can say this: the 5 Titan Pokemon should have all been either the past or future Pokemon from Area Zero, in my opinion.
Disagree.
Really? Okay, go on then.
Disagree, because otherwise they would be more known about and not just written in occult magazines. The idea is that they've managed to keep Area Zero on lockdown, and only a couple of them have made it to the surface.
So the way you could get around that, I guess, is that the Titan Pokemon have only appeared in the last few days or weeks, maybe. So they are relatively new.
But again, that doesn't match the lore that they've already set up, which is they come about from the Herba Mystica, which were brought up by Heath and his team.
So I guess...
Otherwise, it wouldn't be written about in the Scarlet and Violet book for Arven to know about it and go searching for them.
Yes. I guess where I'm coming from, though, is because 4 of the 5 Titan Pokemon are they're just bigger Pokemon. Like it's like, oh, okay, there's nothing unique or interesting about them. However, if I'm suddenly, because I'm playing Violet, if I'm suddenly heading to the first one and it's a metal version of Tyranitar, suddenly I'm more invested in this storyline. I'm thinking there are more mysteries there. There is, okay, not only is there the whole Herba Mystica plotline going on, but there's also these weird robotic versions of Pokemon that I know I love, and I'm therefore asking more questions, trying to figure out this puzzle, and then from that you can then have a storyline. You've got the Arven storyline of him taking care of his dog, but sitting alongside that is almost a B plot of what are these Pokemon? Where did they come from? Why are they here? What do they want? Rather than, 4 of the 5 of them are just bigger Pokemon. And I think part of what would help with then is that there's more of a challenge, because instead of going into the first battle and it's Claw, right, I know that I just need to use grass or water type moves, by throwing in some of the future or past Pokemon whose typings are so bizarre.
Fairly difficult to read. Yeah.
Yes. It suddenly ups that challenge, and then the first battle you are struggling, and then the second battle they get the Herba Mystica, they power up, but then Arven's in going, okay, lore time, this is a whatever Pokemon, I know it's got this typing, this is the Pokemon I'm using, what are you bringing? And then it would have made this Titan storyline compelling, not just for the Arven plotline, but also the Titan plotline as well. I understand why for lore reasons.
I see what you're saying. I think we'll agree to disagree on this one, but I certainly understand where you're coming from on this.
Oh yeah, and I understand where you're coming from. It's one of those unfortunate things where to have what I want breaks the law.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
well, I agree that it is currently underwhelming where they are just like bigger Pokemon.
Yeah,
and again, I think a lot of that comes down to they eat the Herba Mystica and are arbitrarily stronger? Do they have more health? Do they have more? Do they hit harder? It's literally never shown what happens.
No, and no, it really does. At least with the totem Pokemon in Sun and Moon, you're like, okay, right, I know its stats have been boosted, but this, I honestly don't know. And like I mentioned, I think either last podcast or the podcast before, when I was doing my challenge video, I have lost, been knocked out on turn 1 or turn 2, and Arven's Pokemon can solo it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay.
It could have been cool if they, because you think, again, totem Pokemon, they not only got stronger, but were able to call other Pokemon.
Oh, yes.
So what if this is the case of, like, they go out, they eat the Herba Mystica, and then call in a horde?
Yeah.
So suddenly we got horde battles back in the game, and because they're big, because they're the most powerful, they can like control the minds of other smaller creatures and stuff like that. I don't know, just something that made them more than big.
Yeah, definitely. I completely, I'm on board with that. I think the Titan storyline, that it's almost like split them out. The Arven storyline, on board with, positive, great. The Titan storyline, underwhelming.
It's lacking.
Yeah, definitely. There isn't much to wrap up with the Titans. You do have to fight Arven at the lighthouse at the very end. And basically I think that is all. The Titan one, in my opinion, is the one you should complete first. Because
I did the Titan one first,
same.
And then I did Cassiopeia and Starfall.
Yeah.
And then went on, did the Elite Four, and that was kind of like, okay, now let's go and beat Arven.
Yes.
So that we're ready for Area Zero, which is what that final fight is about. That final fight with Arven, to me, is not the end of the Titan fight, is not the end of the Titan story, it's the start of the Area Zero story.
That makes sense, because it's almost that, okay, if you want to go down there, he's almost the checkpoint. Like, if you can beat him, you should be able to at least attempt Area Zero, make your way down there, because there are some difficult battles down there.
Indeed.
So let's jump into.
We need to bring up as well the fact that all throughout the Titan story, you are in contact with who you believe to be the Professor.
Yes. I wish there was more there. He just the first one is where he explains a bit about what's going on, but then it's just almost every time you beat a Titan, you get a phone call going, "Oh, you've discovered more of its powers."
Oh, by the way, this is that thing you've just unlocked. How do you know that? You're not even here.
great, thanks. I guess it's really it's really unfortunate. I think with the professor, like the professor should have almost been a complete mystery. Like you hear about him secondhand from Arven, from the director, people you've worked with, like people who have worked with him or known him in the past. I think that would have worked better than rather him. You know, you see him on the screen at the start, then he's popping up on phone calls, and then obviously the end game and what we're going to discuss in a bit happens.
See, I kind of feel like he should have been building a relationship with you. I'm going to try that one again. I kind of feel like they should have been building a relationship with you because you have Miraidon or Coridon with you.
Yes. Okay,
which would have led to this thing of like, why is my mom and dad calling you? Why are you getting a relationship with my parent? Why? Oh, because I don't want to carry this stupid thing around with me. I don't get phone calls. Nobody checks in on me. Like, and we know, and I know it's an AI. I understand that, but it does have emotions.
He flat out says at the end, like, it's either I love you or I'm proud of you or something like that. Like it's based on the memory patterns of the professor, so it is based on like Arven's mum or dad, depending on which version you're playing, did love Arven. Like that is
whether it's capable of feeling emotion, it is certainly capable of understanding emotion and expressing them.
Let's come back to that, I think, because there's a bit between Arven and the Titan wrap up to okay, where's the end game? Because like I've had this described to me as this is the post game, and it's not. It is still part of the main game. Like for me, this is it's the end game of the main game. And people explain to me, okay, right, the gym team stuff all. Titans done and dusted. Right, now you can do the post game. It's not. This is the bookend to the story. Like everything you have done, the 18 different badges that you have got have led up to this moment of finally getting into Area Zero. And
because credits don't roll until after Area Zero.
They don't. You're right. And like credit where credit's due. Like when they say you are going to Area Zero, it has been built up.
Yes,
it is okay. I don't know a lot about Area Zero, but from what I do know is I don't really want to be going in there. Like, if I was a real person, I would not want to be going into Area Zero.
Yeah, we just saw what it did to Arven's Mibostif. Like, that thing was ruined coming out of there.
Absolutely wrecked. And then I'm really annoyed, though, because, like, Area Zero isn't what I expected it to be.
Oh, okay.
You get down there and it's just more rolling hills. It's grassy. It's nice. There's Venomoths. There's Raichus.
Gorgeous.
But not...
That's so pretty.
But yes, I agree that it's pretty, but that isn't what it should be. This is Area Zero is built up as a dangerous area. Arven barely made it out of his Pokemon. Your legendary barely made it out. And I know that's not because of Area Zero, it's because it lost the fight against the other of its kind. But, like, you should be going down into this place thinking, this place screams death, decay, and despair. And there's a reason we had to build up a team of 4 players to come down here. And it's, look at the Azumarill, look at the Raichu, look at the Venomoth. Aren't they all cute and beautiful? I'm like... And I know that you get a bit more as you get further down. It's just... This biome should have been its own biome. It should have been nothing like you can find on Paldea. But unfortunately, what it is it's more rolling grassy hills.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. And my counter argument to that is that it does, obviously, as you descend further into the core, become that very different world.
Yes.
That is more crystalline and is more underground and things like that. I think it actually... Again, it fits the lore quite well that people have been coming down here for thousands of years, and some make it a little bit of the way down and come back and go, no, we didn't find any treasure, but it wasn't that bad. And then any who dive too far get wrecked.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget as well, there are research stations there. So, like, I'm not saying they've terraformed it or anything, but they've neutralized a lot of the threat on the upper levels.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, that does make sense.
And the influence of either the third legendary or the Paradox Pokemon are weaker as the levels rise. because they haven't managed to make their way up there as much.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think A, it's very pretty. I think it's really nice to look at. I think you still see a lot of that crystalline structure jutting out. You see it wrapping around the trees and stuff like that.
Yes, that is
and
beautiful.
It's supposed to be this kind of nature that devolves into very much other as you descend. And I don't think it would have worked quite well if it started off as other.
I get that. I do get that. I think for me, it comes back to it's almost there's two biomes. There's grassy biome, and then there's rocky cave biome, both of which we've already seen outside of Area Zero. Area Zero to me should have been. I have not seen anything like this on Paldea. I am concerned about being here, and maybe they did lean more into the crystallized structures. Maybe it should have felt like it was overtaking the area more than it did, rather than it's just pretty little elements here and there, unfortunately. But I think. Yeah, that's mine, unfortunately. I did like the fact, though, that the size of it and the fact that the character interactions as you went down, really enjoyed that. However, if you are like me and you set your text speed too fast, you would better be...
mistake!
Yes.
I had to change it to slow.
Yes,
I
did
to change
as well.
it to slow for this section.
And this is one of those annoying parts where this would have benefited from voice acting. Hearing these four people, I say you're a silent protagonist, but like hearing the other three talk to one another, have banter, build up these relationships, because like none of these three, like you are the linchpin of this group. Like if you're not
they're not friends with each other.
They're not. Then they are antagonistic to one another in terms of what they say. Like Penny doesn't like Arven. Arven doesn't like Nemona. Nemona is okay
loves
with
everyone.
Penny, but yeah, Nemona does love everyone. But Penny doesn't like Nemona. Like, and they're talking about like their upbringings and everything else like this. It is. I'm like, okay, right. These relationships, I think, should have been more threaded throughout the three separate paths, where in the end, you're the one that pulls them together to go, set aside your differences. I get that you have different worldviews and different upbringings, and there are things that you admire and dislike about each other. But right now, we need to do this. Otherwise, the Paldean region is going to suffer.
Again, I like the idea. I don't think it works for these characters. Because you do get Arven mention Nemona a couple of times that he kind of can't stand her. Nemona is brought up during the Team Starfall incident because one of them used to be the head of the school council, and Nemona is now the head of the school council, so she's brought up there. But let's not forget, Penny's been away for a year and a half. So ever since Nemona became champion and became head of the school council and that, Penny's not been there. So nobody would have an opinion of Penny. Penny wouldn't have an opinion of anyone else. Arven does bring up that he doesn't like Nemona, and Nemona is so single-minded that she doesn't care about Arven or Penny because they're not battlers. Yeah. So why would she even spare them the time of day?
Yeah.
So I agree that like and do you know what? It's almost that thing of, because they fight at the beginning of who likes you more, who has the better friendship with you. So I think you do have a level of that. And a credit to the writing as well, where, as you say, it does come up really fast. I didn't have a chance to read who was saying what, but from the dialogue alone, you pick it up. You hear the voices in your head of like, oh, that snarky tone is clearly Arven.
It does make me... I can understand why they've done it the way they did, because you have this wide open sprawling area where the point isn't to actually beat the Pokemon. The point is just to descend and look at the beautiful scenery and find the 4 outposts. So I understand why they thought, okay, this is as good a time as any to have those dialogues now, rather than breaking up the flow of dialogue walking. So I get why they did it. And I get that they are restricted in terms of they don't have voice acting, but this is a restriction that they've implemented on themselves, unfortunately.
Yes, agreed.
And it's like, this with the voice acting would have been beautiful, because you would have been able to hear them, butting heads and marveling at the situation they find themselves in. It's one of those mixed bags, unfortunately, where I think, okay, there's some really good things in this, but the way that they've delivered it maybe isn't the best, but I understand why they have. While you're going down, you have to head into these the outposts that have been established there. These, tell you what, these outposts, I know they are so simple on the inside, but I love them, and I think the reason I love them is because I got real Gale of Darkness vibes from these buildings. I don't know if you...
Interesting.
Like, I walked into this building, I thought, I feel like I'm in a different game right now. I feel like this is a modern-day lab from Gale of Darkness. I don't know I don't know if it was the colors, the layout, the tubes,
the shape of it and stuff
maybe,
like that.
Yeah. I was in that room just thinking, this doesn't feel like a Paldean lab, because we saw a Paldean lab up on the surface when Arven unlocks it, and I thought, okay, this feels very different. I mean, there's a few points I want to break down here. One, the first three are copy and paste, which, okay, you can kind of get away with because they're all outposts, but felt a little bit lazy. However, it does then drive home when you get into the fourth one, and it is a wreck. Fair enough. Okay, makes that one stand out a lot more. So maybe that was the creative decision behind it. I don't know.
I mean, again, they are research outposts. They would be copy and paste.
They would. I'm not going to lie, filled with fear when the professor is basically going, yeah, you need to unlock things. And I'm like, I've done this before. Like, I know. No. Like, you are wanting me to unlock you because you're evil or bad.
I'm trapped. How could I have got trapped in here? Oh, no. And then they straight up say at the end, it's like, oh, by the way, if you unlock me, you will unleash an army of these Paradox Pokemon.
I was like, what? Okay. So, like, the first one, straight away, I alarm bells going, thinking, okay, right, I know where this story goes, but honestly, I would rather just go, nah, you're on your own, Professor. I'm hightailing it out of here. I tried to speak to the three companions at each lab post after you got a bit more of the story. But they do that annoying thing where, and this is, I think, one of the downfalls, unfortunately, is that none of them really react in any particular way to what's been revealed to them from the professor, where you just talk to him, it's like, okay, right, we've just found out that the professor's trapped down here. It needs help. We're going to unlock it. You talk to Penny. She's like, oh, it's a beautiful place. Like, no, what do you think about the situation, Penny? What do you think we should trust him? Do you think, the other people trust us? Like, do you think Arven's okay? Like, it's... I just hate when games do that. It's like...
There is a little bit of that once once the professor starts going... and showing off the fact that they're an AI, basically.
Yeah, that's a very good... Like, because I'm trying to remember, which part does he have his little moment? Because that was when I
think it's right at the very end. I think it is the fourth one.
I think that was when I thought, okay, he's either a robot or someone's impersonating him. Like, that was the point where I was like, this definitely is not the professor. 100%. And Arven's kind of clued in on that. Like,
yeah, I think he picks up and he's like, I think I always knew, kind of thing.
Okay, right, this is...
Did you read the journal entries on the way down?
No.
Oh, missing some story here.
Oh,
so got the journal. You've got about 2 journal entries in every research station on the way down.
Okay.
And it's assumedly written by the professor, talking about like when they built their AI, when they pulled Miraidon through, the fact that the other parent of Arven leaves because they care too much about the child and aren't invested enough in what's going on down here. And it's like, oh wow, there's so much in there. It's so good.
Wow. So the other parent leaves, and yet they're not in.
No idea. No idea is the answer.
That's a downfall. Unfortunately, I think they should have had both professors in there. I think it's missing something for Arven more than anything. That these two. It's just weird. It's just weird. Like I get that Pokemon's always. It's a bit of a trope now that most games you have one parent and that is it. But this is the one way it should have benefited from 2, and maybe they have, rivaling ideologies, or, one is more concerned about family, one is more concerned about work, and it's butting of heads, maybe, or Arven having to make that decision, like what is more important to him. It's a bit of a shame, but I need to go and check out those pieces of lore. I've got a feeling it's a bit like Cinnabar Mansion, the journals, so. And Mew, and Mewtwo. Okay, right. I need to look into that. Do they?
But now that you've done it, you can teleport between all the stations, so you can.
Oh, can you? Okay, right, perfect. Right, okay. Well, I'm going to do that at some point this weekend, then definitely. So should we move on to the end game of the end game then, when it all just not unravels, but the plot threads almost lay themselves out.
The big twist that the professor has been dead all along. The one you've been interacting with was an AI built for them, and they together worked on a time machine which brought the Paradox Pokemon into this world.
Yeah.
Now, when I first, even saying that out loud is kind of crazy. Pokemon has always been unashamed of its sci-fi nature, even from the very beginning. Mewtwo was a clone and all that kind of stuff. But I do feel they jumped the shark just a little bit on this one.
I don't think it works because it feels like he's a plot twist for the sake of being a plot twist.
A little bit, yeah.
Rather than and the reason why is because that could have been a professor. You remove the AI plot and it doesn't change anything.
No.
It's the exact same plot. It's so you've added in a twist for the sake of adding in a twist. It doesn't make now. What if you want to go down this route and have the AI robot, which yes, they have cloning and there's all these. They have teleporters and stuff, but having a full sentient AI does feel a little bit. I don't think that, but I'm pretty sure the robot even says that full AI isn't capable yet. He is just the memory patterns.
Porygon 2 is technically AI.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so Porygon 1 is an artificial Pokemon, but Porygon 2 is significant for the fact that it is capable of learning.
Okay.
So it is officially AI. And you go back to Magearna, which is a soul that was artificially created.
True. Okay. So, okay, I still think it's a twist that wasn't needed, but okay, right. Yeah, AI, humans. Yeah, okay, possible. But I think, what was the point I was going to make then? It was the fact that, in terms of if you wanted this twist to work and the fact that they are, an AI, you need to lay out the groundwork for that throughout the story, which I don't think they did. And if they did do it, it wasn't, I think, noticeable. What I'm thinking of is the fact that, maybe there should be hints and nods of, okay, how did he manage to contact us? How's he got our phone number? Okay. Or you could have something along the lines of, he went down there a long time ago. No one's heard from him. He didn't have any food or items with him. How is he still alive? Little hints and nods.
Theoretically, that is there. He has been trapped in there for a good few years now. And nobody ever expresses as to why is he still alive, but the hints are there.
Okay. But okay, so I didn't get the hints and thought that this twist wasn't needed. So you obviously got those hints. So what did you think?
Not really. No, I didn't.
Okay.
What I'm saying is they are kind of there, but you're right. When the reveal comes out, you're not like, oh my god, of course.
Yeah. It's just like
okay. I guess.
Okay, we're going
and
with
again,
this, right?
It's one of those where it's it's not there to serve story.
Yes.
It's there to serve the final battle where, once again, it's nobody's actually a bad guy. It's no, just let somebody, just have a villain.
Good point.
Just have a villain who is more interested in actually bringing forward future Pokemon and won't let you destroy their years and years of research.
Yes.
Done.
Yes.
He's already abandoned his child for this stuff.
Yeah.
Why not just have it no, you're not taking down my time machine. I don't care if it blows up the entire universe. I will push this until the very end because it's my life's work.
Yeah.
It's such a simple character and one that is perfect for Pokemon.
Yeah.
Instead, it's well, actually, no, it's an AI and it's only fighting you because it's lost control due to a program that was put in place by the real professor. But the real professor wasn't actually an evil guy because he just put it in place in case some. Oh, whatever.
Yeah. It is unfortunate, and because there are elements of this that I do like so like this for me is a unique time travel story because time travel stories typically break. If you throw time travel into a story, it breaks it. Like if you are not careful, it breaks the story.
We're going to pretend that time travel doesn't break this story.
So the reason why I like this is it's not people going to and from the future. It's not Pokemon technically going to and from the future. It's technology. Pokeballs. Pokeballs are what I inferred from this is Pokeballs are the only piece of technology that can go travel to and from past and future, but that doesn't break a timeline. Them bringing Pokemon from the past or future doesn't seem to affect the timeline, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's specifically stated that the time machine wouldn't allow any human to travel through it and come back.
Oh.
Those are the words that are said. It's one way if it was for humans.
In that case, I don't like it then, because that does open up a can of worms.
There is some sort of, as you say, because Pokeballs have the ability to digitize Pokemon effectively, which is why we can use the PC system and all that kind of stuff. That's why they can go two ways.
Yeah.
We're unsure whether AI, Turo, and Sada could go two ways, because they only go one and then the machine gets destroyed. Yeah, it's confusing. And I will say, if you think time travel isn't broken in this world, think about the fact that the time machine was built in the last few years, yet was designed by Heath 200 years ago, after he'd already seen Paradox Pokemon, which wouldn't start coming through until Sada and Turo create the time machine 200 years later.
Okay, that hit my head just hearing you say
Yes, exactly.
I lost the thread of that whole. I was like, I understand all these words, but I don't understand them in a sentence. Okay, right, yeah, I get your point. Like, this is weird because, like, Pokemon is they are so hesitant sometimes, and then on other things they are so right. We're going all in on this. Like, we already know they've confirmed that every single Pokemon game in some way takes place in a multiverse of sorts. Hence why you've got the mega timeline, you've got the normal timeline, and you've got characters moving between these timelines, past and future. Legends Arceus and the train conductor. Like, it's like, why not just commit to it? Like, why is this story not about AI and time travel then, rather than it just being a twist at the end? What a twist! Why is that not the flow point of this story?
Yeah, understandable.
And just go, okay, you know what? Rather than, because this unfortunately almost feels like, okay, we're too scared to make it an entire thing, but we're gonna do it right at the end. But by doing that, it just feels unnatural and unearned. And it's, for me, it was the thing that, okay, like, there are elements of this I love, but like you said, I'm thinking at the end going, we didn't need this. Just to have the professor. Like, Arven's right. His dad didn't care about him because he cares more about the research and his life's goal. And, you know, you then side with Arven even more because you've built up this friendship. And while there are, you know, a good bad guy should be someone that, okay, I can understand where they're coming from. I can understand how they got to this point. I can get on board with some of the arguments they're making. But ultimately, you still need to be stopped. Like, that is a sign of a good, well-written bad guy. This isn't that, though. This is, I just happen to be a robot, and the AI just wants to. What is the AI's goal? Just wants to time travel.
It wants to do the same thing that its creator wanted to do, which is learn of the past and learn of the future. And you can go down the theory route of, because at the end they do time travel. Theoretically,
yes.
Turo goes into the future, an AI goes into the future. An AI in a robotic body goes into the future. A future which will eventually become all robotic AI creatures.
Seems
so. Him going into the future is likely what causes that evolution of Pokemon to occur. Sada goes into the past, right? And we know that Sada has an influence on Pokemon of the past because we have things like Brute Bonnet, which is the Among Us or the Among Us ancestor, which looks like a Pokeball despite the fact that Pokeballs didn't exist yet.
Yeah,
so her going into the past is likely what caused them to evolve that way. So it does come full circle of, like, the things they're pulling through only exist because they eventually go to those points in time.
Mm.
But the problem I think I have with it is that they're villains of a story that only exists once you reach Area Zero. Like, Area Zero is a completely separate story and has nothing to do with the rest of the game.
Definitely.
It's built up to and constantly referenced, but other than the fact that, terrestrialization came from Area Zero, but that's to do with the third legendary, which we don't even see yet.
Yeah, good point, actually.
We know it likely is the one that killed Turo or Sada, the real one.
Yes.
In the incident in the fourth research station, because it's brought up, it's like, oh, the professor tried to control that creature's power and just couldn't, and ended up dying from it. And it's like, okay, so give me that story.
Yes.
Give me that ending.
Yeah,
give me, because the whole game has been about terrestrialization, and instead it's like, well, now it's about paradox.
Actually, good point. Yeah, there's a massive disconnect there, because when you get down to the bottom, there is only one time where you terrestrialize, but it doesn't feel like that is what that should do. So I'm talking about. There's so much I want to unpack here.
The fight with the other legendary.
Yes. So you get down there, and this is one of the. This was, when I talk about the best moment in Sword and Shield is the raid battle against Eternatus, where you can't do anything, and then the music kicks in. Zamazenta and Zacian appear, and it's a raid battle. I was like, all right, like this is heaven. This is nearly that, but it's not as well implemented, because basically, just to kind of lay down what happens, is that it turns out that the legendary Pokemon you had fled Area Zero because it lost a territorial dispute with another one of its kind. Now, I think they dropped the ball there. That I think it should have been the other legendary, personally.
It wouldn't have made sense for it to be the other legendary.
Oh, yes, because all the Pokemon are either from the past or the future, depending on which version you're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Fair enough then. That makes sense. But the part where your Pokeballs get ID locked, which means that only Pokeballs that the professor is ID'd to can work. So you go, the other legendary Pokemon battles you, and you just cannot send out a Pokemon. But it brings up the menu. I love this. It's like fight, Pokemon, items, run. And it's like, okay, what do I do? And that moment when you go into Pokemon and you just see your legendary Pokemon at the very bottom, like it has been this entire story, where it's in your party mons, but you can't do anything with it. It's just literally the only thing is it says like plus to ride or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you just go, I wonder. And you just scroll down and you press it, and then it glows, and you get to throw out your legendary, and then everyone else is rooting it on. Well, I was like, oh, this is okay. Fair play. That is absolutely amazing. I love that, and it's a challenging battle as well. I don't know if you struggled with it.
So difficult one to say, because I think my battle lasted like 3 turns.
Oh, okay.
I was going to get completely wrecked.
Yes.
I think I attacked the first turn.
Yep.
Healed the second turn because it like crit me and took me down to no health.
Yeah.
And then the following turn, it was like, oh wait, you can terrestrialize, and oh, okay, I one-shot it. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I guess that's over then.
Okay, so my issue there is like that shouldn't have been terrestrialization, because it doesn't feel like by that point. I'd completely forgotten about terrestrialization. Once you're down there and it's all the paradox, it's like, okay, I can terrestrialize to a dragon type, but that in game, the function of that in game is, okay, gains a boost and everything, which is different than it finally discovering its final form. I don't think those two work together, unfortunately.
Yeah,
it should have been something
especially
else.
Considering that terrestrialization is nothing to do with these legendaries.
Yes.
It's completely...
Yes.
Assuming it's completely to do with another legendary.
Yeah. Like it shouldn't have been terrestrialization. It should have been, okay, you hover over there and it's like full form or final form, something like that. Like, I'm thinking of this on the spot, so it's not going to sound like fleshed out or good, but it shouldn't have been a Terra type. But
no, it's where you go full cheese and it's like, oh, it's me and my Pokemon that I've gained a relationship with.
Yeah.
Freaking throw a sandwich at it.
Yeah, yes. But that brings me nicely onto another point, that like what this game was missing is that at the end of that game, I still consider my Pokemon is the ride mechanic and not a Pokemon. Like it felt you had that initial meeting with it. You had this end part where everyone's rooting it on and there's a bit of like it looks really alive. And then all you've got in between them is when it pops out to annoy Penny or it pops out to eat a sandwich. Like,
it is cute though. It's full dog mode.
It is. But there should have been more building of this friendship and the love between partner and Pokemon to the point that where you get to the end, and because at the end it's flat out stated, it doesn't want to come out of its Pokeball. It is terrified of something down here. And you just, at the end, it doesn't matter because you just throw it out. And it should have been almost like your character holding the Pokeball, you know, whispering to it, going, I know you're scared.
I know how you fix it. I know how you fix it. You throw it out at the end. It stands there. It's not in its battle form.
Yeah.
It's a supposed to lose fight. And then the other legendary turns its eyes on you. You see it. It picks its head up from the ground. The other legendary rushes towards you and boom, battle form. Yep. No, you do not take on my friends. I will stand here to defend them because they've stood here to defend me. Yeah, exactly.
No, you're absolutely right. Like they
Game Freak, I'm available.
Yes, just call us up. What else have I? So there's a few things that I want to discuss. I'm going to go with the Professor's a robot and the AI malfunction. The language on screen,
the leet speak.
Yes, I absolutely love it. Like I absolutely really enjoyed that because it's like how do you kind of show it's a robot when there's no voice acting. Like
that.
Yes,
very well done.
Very well done. Very well done. Again, like. They've set the limitations, but this is a time where, okay, based on the limitations, this is what we can do, and they make it work. So credit where credit's due. The other thing I want to discuss is the Paradox Pokemon.
Right, so we both played through Violet. Have you seen all the ones from Scarlet?
I have watched the final fight because I wanted to see what
the Scarlet
team
ones
was.
Are infinitely better, in my opinion.
I
think a lot of the Violet designs are very lazy.
Yes,
the one I will always point out is Iron
Hariyama.
Whatever. No, the Tyranitar one because we already had Mecha Tyranitar, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I think
Iron Thorns. That's it. It's just not great.
I think I think both sides had. It's the typical like there are Pokemon where that looks really good, and then there's Pokemon thinking. Yeah, that looks a little bit lazy. So, who am I thinking of? Misdreavus, for example. It just has longer floating, whatever those things are on its head. I was like, okay, right. Jigglypuff. Jesus Christ, I'm scared of Jigglypuff now. That thing is the stuff of nightmares. It looks like
a billion years old as well.
Yeah, a billion years old.
A billion years old.
It looks like it's like Fairy Dragon or something. Like that thing is terrifying. Like
Scream Tail.
Which one was that?
No, that's the Jigglypuff one. It's called Scream Tail.
What do you think of the naming conventions for these?
Garbage. Absolute garbage.
Yeah. It's lazy.
Especially the future one. They're all Iron something.
Iron something. It's like, okay, right, that's...
And it's a shame because, like, that's what they were called in the Scarlet Violet book. Fine. That's what they're called in the Occult magazine.
Yeah,
fine. But we don't call them that now that we're caught them.
Yes.
That's just stupid.
Yeah.
That would be like the Ultra Beast still being called UBO1, UBO2.
Yeah. If only these Pokemon, I don't know, had a way to speak almost when they use their signature attacks or they come out of their Pokeball. Like, I don't know. Like, could you imagine?
Only 2 Pokemon in the Pokemon universe do that, to be fair.
Yes. But it's, the Paradox and they're all known as Paradox Pokemon, aren't they? Past or future.
I believe that's so. They're referred to as Pokemon from the past or Pokemon from the future. I think it's their it's the category is what's Paradox Pokemon.
Okay. There's I don't know like other parts of the reviews that we've done. There are parts I love, parts where I'm thinking, this feels like. You just went with the first design or the first iteration of something rather than really fleshing it out, unfortunately. There are some designs I really did like. The What's the book
I
of
think
fire type
Volcarona
Pokemon?
does well.
Yes, that one does
Volcarona
really well.
does well. Both ends, actually.
Yes, agreed. Hariyama is one of them where it's grown on me. Like the first time I saw it, I thought, "Oh, that's lazy," but actually, like, I do kind of like that design. The Tyranitar one does nothing for me.
I think the semi-legendary ones, the ones that you find in the secret cave.
Which ones are them?
So you get the Iron Valiant, which is the
the Gallade.
Gardevoir
Yes, I
Gallade.
Love that one. Love that design.
And in Scarlet, you get the Salamence.
Yes, I like that one. Yeah.
Moon something.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Also, I really like that cave and the story that's supposed to go on there. That just give me more information.
Yes.
Game's not finished.
Yeah.
You want it to be up.
I love it. This what I do like about the past ones, I guess, is they all seem more threatening. Like when you look at any of them, when you look at a lot of the fossil Pokemon, they do stand out. They do.
It was a rougher time they lived in, quite clearly.
Yes,
you were clearly fighting for survival.
Yes, whereas obviously, being with humans over millennia has mellowed them out. There isn't as many.
They are no longer. They no longer are they like dominant predators.
Yes. So I do like the fact that they seem more scary, especially Jigglypuff. What did you think of the I want to move on in a second, but I really want to know your thoughts on this one, the Magneton one.
Ugh, gross.
Don't like it? No.
No, not a fan.
I like parts of it, but the fact that it has iron filings.
I thought it was like a ferrofluid, but it's not. It's supposed to be like iron sand.
Yeah, that's the one that doesn't make sense to me. It's almost like I don't know what my headcanon is, that like certain steel Pokemon almost seem too modern to be possible that many millennia ago.
But it's not a steel Pokemon. It's electric ground.
Oh, it's electric ground. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's just okay, right, fair enough. I can let that one pass then. What else was there? I was trying to think if there's any others that really do stand out. Obviously, I still have yet to see the past version of Donphan, other than that 1 second clip in the trailer, but I really want to see that one.
I don't know. The Hydreigon was super lazy. Hydreigon is awful. The future form of Hydreigon.
It's flying dragon?
Flying dragon?
Something like that. Yeah, that. Like, to the point where...
no, it's Flying Dark. It's not
Flying
dragon.
Dark, okay. To the point where the first time I saw that, I thought, my game's glitching. Because it was from a distance, and it didn't have any shadows or lighting on it, it seemed. And it's only when I got close, I was like, oh, that's a paradox form. Right, okay. Sure, whatever.
Yeah, nobody put any effort into that one.
No, definitely not. Again, credit to Game Freak that the final battle against the Professor isn't easy, pretty hard. And what I do love about that is you go into that battle thinking, I don't know the typings of these mons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I know what they normally are, but they're not going to be that now. So what are they? And I think that's maybe going back to the La Prima, the champion fight. Maybe that's why she didn't stand out, because like Go-Go. You know its weakness. Like, you know what to use against that. And some of the other mons, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think she only uses 1 or 2. She definitely only uses 1 Pokemon that you cannot see at that point in the game in the whatever that floating blue bulb is.
Glamora.
Glamora, yeah.
You could have evolved into it.
Oh, could you? Right, okay.
Yeah, you can catch that. You can catch the pre-evolved form in a cave somewhere.
Right, okay.
That one doesn't matter anyway, because it terrestrializes and shows you what type it is.
Yeah, exactly. True. Yes, there was parts that I really, really, really did enjoy in this. The final battle, the music. It's
cool. The fact that they're so much higher than you.
They drop them
going down.
Yes.
They keep throwing out Master Balls, which is insane.
Why?
And then again, all these Pokemon are like legendary stats and stuff like that. So yeah, very good. Very good fight.
Very good fight. And like, it's not even the fact that he throws them, he just kind of like lazily drops them. And just the animation as it comes down, and the fact that like the first time you see one of those Master Balls, you're like, oh, I know I'm in for a fight here. And the battle did not disappoint. So like, end game, challenge, like, well done. Like, they improved it. The only thing I've got to discuss is the very end scene of the four of them in the legendary walking after saving the world. It's obviously a pre-rendered cutscene, but this allows them to add a little bit more characteristics to them, like the smiles, the Arven tapping you on the arm, them interacting with the legendary. Like, I love that. I just wish there'd been a bit more of that throughout the game. Like that, because they felt really human. Like, not just human in what they're saying, but human with how they move and how they're interacting. And I wish there'd been a bit more that I kind of wish that very end scene of them wasn't pre-rendered, or however they've done it, because it did make me think, okay, they look very alive in this, whereas in the rest of the game they do feel very like digital assets, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But overall,
I really enjoyed it. I think you've made a very good point of the final Area Zero bit feeling disconnected from the rest of it. But I stand by the point. The characters are probably the best written they've been since maybe Gen 5.
Yes, yes.
The overall story, it's not perfect.
No.
It's not the most groundbreaking, and is certainly flawed in certain areas. I think Team Star is one of them, where it's just not as good as it maybe could have been.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and
Yes.
I enjoyed experiencing it, and had fun with the characters along the way.
Yes. One thing that I'm going to do after this is I want to look at the credits to see how many writers there are, because I'm wondering whether or not they have different writers for different parts of the game, and then there's maybe one overarching the director that's going, okay, right, I'm pulling all this together, because I'm just curious, because it does feel like it feels like there's loads of good points in the story threaded throughout, but they're not as connected as maybe they need to be to really go, okay, because this unfortunately doesn't feel like one long story. It feels like pockets of stories.
At least according to Wikipedia, there is one writer accredited.
That's
Ryoto Muranaka.
That's really strange then. That is really, because there's just disconnects, unfortunately, I feel. But not to take away from, you're absolutely right. Like, so the characters have never felt more real, unique, lived. Like, these don't feel like characters that have just been dropped into a story. They all have a past, a present, and a future. Whereas Hop, like, you could argue that Hop was born on the day that you meet him, because it's like, okay, other than, like, he doesn't talk about his past, he just talks about, well, the only thing he talks about is watching his brother's videos growing up, and that is it. Whereas
there's an argument that's like Hop's whole personality is the fact that he's in his brother's shadow, though.
Yeah,
so
pretty much. Whereas in this, like, Arven has a backstory, Penny has a backstory, Nemona's backstory is probably,
Nemona's a little rich girl.
Yeah,
which is never brought up. And like,
love that.
She's allowed to just be a trainer because her sister's going to take over the company someday.
Yes.
Forget what company her parents run.
Oh, is it mentioned?
Yeah, I forget what they run. Oh, that's going to annoy me now. Oh, anyway, doesn't matter.
Okay, fair enough. So overall, I really did enjoy the story. I just think
they built the Rotom phone.
They built the Rotom phone.
They built the Rotom phone.
Really? Oh, that's absolutely amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I love that. Wow. Overall, really enjoyed the story. I think it could have and should have been a bit more connected. A couple of twists that maybe weren't needed. I guess the only thing I would love to see moving forward is more the fact that your dialogue would make a change, or
agreed.
Like the fact that, like, I'm recording with British at the moment, and whatever option he selects, I select the opposite. And maybe every now and again there's a different line of dialogue, but other than that, it makes no difference. Which makes me think, why even have dialogue in there? Like, why even have those
options? In there?
Yeah.
There is one that I will point out, which is Nemona at the very end, when she's like, oh, you and me are going to be rivals now, right? If you say no, she'll
Yeah.
give you like 4 or 5 chances and just devolve slowly. It's like, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you right. You, me, rivals? Yes.
Okay, right. I'm doing that when I get to there.
It's good fun.
Good fun indeed. Right. This podcast has been going for 2 hours. Are we not doing? We're not doing the Pokemon Master Journey weekly episode.
It's up to you.
I tell you what. But I kind of want to do the no, I can't. No, because the 2 hours. This is a long podcast, but I can't do the guessing game either because the Pokemon are tied in with the episodes.
The episodes.
Unfortunately, yeah. Should we have a quick look at the questions on YouTube because I know there's at least one.
Okay, so we do have one question this week that was given to us. Unfortunately, we've kind of already answered it because it was, what's our thoughts on Geeta and do we consider her that she should be the top champion? No, clearly.
No,
she's the
not.
worst.
She is the worst. She not only has she been beaten by us, she's been beaten by Nemona and who knows who else. So
yeah.
There you go. There's your question. But if you've got a comment or question, you can reach us by leaving a comment on our podcast on YouTube, by emailing goldenrodpod@gmail.com, or by leaving it on our Discord channel. Connor, what have you got content-wise coming up?
I have a video coming out that is about the connections between Scarlet and Violet and the previous generation. All the references made to the previous generation.
Wow, love it. Not a lot from me other than the usual. Plowing ahead with this challenge video. I mean, if you want to try and guess which Pokemon I'm trying to solo Scarlet and Violet with, then let me know.
Lechonk.
No, I did think about Lechonk, but Lechonk felt like it was doable. I went with one that was very not doable.
Interesting.
That's all I will tell you. And that's the show for this week. If you've gotten this far, you're just a top dollar, aren't you? Connor, where can we find you?
You can find me on my YouTube channel at Captain Fidget or on Twitter at CapFidget.
Right, and I'm Ben, and you can find me as Professor Homan Gaming on YouTube and Professor Homan on Twitter and Twitch. As for the Goldenrod Podcast, you can find us on the usual platform. Search for Goldenrod Podcast on YouTube or on your usual podcast app. Leave a like on YouTube or a 5-star review if you're listening as a podcast. We'll be back next Friday for another week of Pokemon podcast content.
See ya!